Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, and streaming live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. We actually have a really awesome show tonight and a very special show tonight because we are being brought to you by History Channel. You know, that History Channel. You know, that's actually that's a pretty bold accomplishment there.
That's a big darn deal.
I am your main host, Mike Dolce, brought to you, as always, with my second mic, Hassan Godwin.
I hate it here. I just hate it here.
If you're checking us out live on Facebook, that's awesome. We really appreciate it. We've also got DaiQuan Cain coming on in our third segment as well to talk about his Kickstarter.
We got Qui-Gon Jinn on the show?
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I thought he was dead.
we've got a ton of good stuff going on. We're really excited about everything that's going on. But again, this is a special show because we are going to be reviewing History Channel's new series.
Yeah, we're going to be spoiler free. We're
going to be spoiler free.
Yeah,
but we're going to be doing this a week before it comes out. It's coming out next week. History Channel's like, you guys are an awesome podcast. We want your input. We want you to spread the word.
Which was darn nice of them.
It was very nice of them.
I honestly,
I'm actually ill-equipped and ill-prepared to accept those kind of.
I was touched. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to do with with positivity.
But
that's not right.
But yeah, so we're coming at you live. It's pretty awesome, and we thank History Channel. Now, History Channel is sponsoring us, but I have to make this clear: the opinions that we share, they're our own.
There are opinions.
There are opinions.
Yeah.
So let's dive into what Nightfall is first. I think that's the best way to do this. Set this up a little bit. History Channel's had some success with some scripted series before.
Yeah.
They're also
Vikings.
They're also known. Look, I got my History Channel. I'm all History Channel tonight. I got my Ancient Aliens shirt on for anybody.
You're such a media whore.
For any, this is a whore.
I'm not, but nobody can see me, so nobody knows. I'm wearing the wig. I'm wearing the alien guy's wig right now. So
like,
I'm just as much a whore as you are, but nobody can tell.
Well, all right, I'll put the video on you, and then then
they'll see I'm lying, and I'm not actually wearing that guy's wig at all.
No, we think
good.
it's pretty cool. So they've done some good scripted series like Vikings, which is really good. They did the Hatfield McCoys a couple of years ago, which
was a pretty big deal.
It was a big deal.
It was a crazy movie, miniseries.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So
and then they do a lot of history too. That's the odd thing. Like they managed to squeeze in all this history stuff. During
maybe
the day.
They do. Yeah, maybe
a couple
of
documentaries.
I'm a big fan of Ancient Aliens.
That's not technically history.
It's not.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of Curse of Oak Island, and I'm going to tell you how Curse of Oak Island's amazing.
You're a big fan of everything on the History Channel that isn't history.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Oh no, I'll watch some. No, I won't. No, there's definitely some.
We used to call it the Hitler Channel, which they're not going to appreciate.
No, that's the Military History Channel now.
Yes.
So if you go to Military History, but even they are starting to do
because it's always about World War II.
Right, but even they're starting to do like codes and conspiracies now.
Yeah, they're doing.
And
these.
Everybody's
branching out.
They're definitely doing some good.
Didn't History Channel? The History Channel was one with the Ghost Hunters, right? They started it, or Paranormal Activity, or one of those. They started.
Discovery.
Huh? Was it?
Do you think Sci-Fi?
Well, Sci-Fi picked it up.
Our Alpha intern who's back from vacation. It was Sci-Fi.
But then that was for Ghost Hunters. Ghost Adventures was Discovery.
Oh,
yeah, I think
fact checked.
Yeah, and MythBusters was.
I don't
Discovery
like getting fact checked.
Well,
I know MythBusters was Discovery.
It is just what it is.
Well done, Anna.
So here's what you need to know about Nightfall. It's the Knights Templar, kind of all based around the Knights Templar. Again, it's a scripted series, so they take a little bit of liberties with different things, which is fine. They were a powerful, wealthy, and mysterious military order of the Middle Ages that existed for nearly 2 centuries following the official endorsement of the Roman Catholic Church. Their big thing was the Holy Grail, and that's what this whole show is kind of like focused on.
Yeah, it's speculatory as to whether they actually possessed the Grail, or whether it was throughout the honest history, in real history, or was it just one of those things that they claimed that they possessed, or just one of those things they financed themselves because they were constantly searching for it?
Yeah.
In this show, they had it.
They just
said,
we're gonna take this leap.
Yeah, we're solving this.
We're gonna take this leap. The Holy Grail is real.
They were eating peaches out of it. They had.
Did you feel when you were watching, and we got to watch the first few episodes? Did you feel like you were watching The Last Crusade a little bit? Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones. Yeah. Actually, also in the way that the Grail looked.
Yeah,
you know,
which was very endearing.
Yeah,
I was
nice
like, all right, they're hitting my soft spot here.
These guys
this is how we kind of tie it all in together.
It's actually kind of cool because it's right after the fall of Jerusalem, after the Muslims are on the march and they're taking things back. This is like in a middle period. It's not actually a crusade. It's a middle period just before Richard the Lionhearted made, I think, the third crusade, which was the kind of the really bloodiest one. It's either the third or the fourth. I'm screwing it up.
We're not here to give history lessons. That's History Channel's job.
No, yes, that's their job, and they do way better job.
History Channel is out there to provide the history.
Yeah.
We're here to provide the action.
But yes, and this show had a ton of action in it. Especially for like a pilot, and it starts off. This is not a spoiler because it's the first 10 minutes of the show.
You're spoiling everything.
Well, that's what I do. That's what we're gonna. They lose Acker. Right? Acker's like pretty much their last stronghold.
Well, that's not a spoiler. That's like actual history.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Like that actually did happen.
But it also happens in the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
So that's not really a spoiler for the episode so much. That's kind of the catalyst of everything.
Yeah.
That's the 1 to 3 o'clock as stories go.
Yeah.
And so we start out with our Nightfall show with our Templars having lost the Holy Land.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not even in the Holy Land like after the first 5 minutes of the show is over.
Right. Which was was interesting too. I agree with that because I'm kind of sitting there, I'm watching it, and I'm like, all right, where do we kind of go? Where's this going to go here?
They're in Paris. They're chilling. They're hanging out. They're talking to. They're talking to the king. They're talking to official people.
Yeah.
They're doing. They're doing blogs and
But here's the funny thing, right? And this is where I'm gonna pull it into my love of History Channel.
We're gonna get serious.
The Templars are a big storyline on Curse of Oak Island. Big storyline.
You think it's all Italian?
Well, according
this is all the Curse of Oak Island.
All right, so if you watch Curse of Oak Island, which I don't know if you do, if you're an Ancient Aliens fan, it's the same production company that does Ancient Aliens, does Curse of Oak Island. But Curse of Oak Island is a real story. About an island in Nova Scotia. My wife and I, we love it. We sit every Tuesday.
Have you been to Nova Scotia?
No, we don't go to Nova Scotia. We've never been to Nova Scotia.
You just go to your sofa and watch Curse of Oak Island.
Correct, yes. Okay. We go to Nova Sofa. And we basically...
Well done.
Oh, that one was well done. Did that pass your...
That passed the smell
We're
test.
We're gonna name the bit Nova Sofa.
We'll know with that. We're not going to name it the other thing. We're not naming it the other thing.
I have to announce our 100th show. It's going to be exciting.
Keep going.
And it's about... So basically in the 1700s, they found this... these young boys are in a rowboat, and they see these lights on the island. They go to the island, and they realize that there's like a dig site of some kind. And they're like, oh, maybe there's something here. And they see some gold chains. They see some gold. They're like, well, let's keep digging. And they find this like rock that says, 100 meters below or 100 whatever, kind of measurement that they gave. There's treasure. And so they keep digging and digging and digging, and then they spring a booby trap. I mean, this is actually happened. This is real history. So I'm giving you real history.
This actually took
and
place.
Since then, there's been teams of people going to this island to try to find the so-called treasure, and no one's ever actually found it. But they found pieces of it.
Well, wait.
And they found things. But every time they try to dig, there's just booby traps. It floods the entire island. There's just flood holes everywhere. So any attempt to try to find this treasure has been carefully blocked by whoever buried it. FDR, when he was a young lad, was on one of the teams that came in there, and people.
So whoever did this in the ancient world, managed to rig an island, to flood every time someone
digs past a certain point. Yeah, I know. This is like actual fact. I'm not making this up.
And so you think that they're tying in Nightfall?
No. How it ties into the Templars, though, which is what I get excited about, and why I'm excited about the Nightfall show is people keep saying, okay, well, if they did this, I mean, to rig an island to flood is not an easy feat, right? I mean, that's not easy to do. No. So how they actually now people keep speculating, well, what's buried there? And there are Knights of the Templar insignias all over the island, like carved into rocks.
Really?
Yeah. So this is like so they had this whole season 2 diversion where they actually
like
go
red
to Scotland
all over the island.
Not red, but the
cross,
but the actual crosses, yeah. And on this season too, they're going to be finding more Knights of the Templar stuff. So people are actually speculating that this is not Spanish treasure that's being hidden, which some people think it's like Spanish pirate treasure. They think the actual Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. They think, I mean, there's so many outlandish, there's crazy theories. So
yeah, all right.
That's my circle back into Nightfall. So I'm a big fan of the Templars. I'm a big fan of all this other stuff. So it was cool to be able to see the first episode and see it. Let me ask you a question though, right? Because one of the things that history kind of gave us, and again, this is, we're working in partnership with them. The Templar was humanity's original Jedi Knights. What do you think of that? I laughed at first, but then I thought about it and I was like,
no, it's absolutely true. And that's who the George Lucas actually based the Jedi Knights off of the Templars. So yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right. I know. At first, I'm like, oh, come on, please.
No, well, that's true.
But then you're like, wait a minute.
But when I was a kid,
religious order of fighting monks. Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid,
like
I loved the Templars, and I made that connection myself when I was a kid, even before I knew what the heck was going on. And it's one of the reasons, because Star Wars paints so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I really kind of gravitated to them. It's like, oh, it's a secret order of warrior, religious warrior monks that, were charged to, protect the pilgrims and holy people in the Holy Land from going from place to place to see all these, these holy monuments and these on their pilgrimages and stuff like that. So, yeah, and then, I mean, it's not. They're not ambiguous about how the Templars ended. Even in the reviews.
Yeah.
For this show, they say, this leads all the way up until they're falling out with the church.
Exactly.
So and which pretty much the same thing happened to the Jedi. So
yeah. So I mean, not an outlandish statement.
No.
At first, it kind of was.
No, but it was. Yeah.
My last kind of takeaway from it before we get into the deeper question that we're gonna talk about in segment 2.
Okay.
Is they have night vision. Did you see that actually?
Yeah.
I don't like all the puns, by the way. I actually don't love the title because it's the name of a very famous Batman story, so I was kind of a little thrown off. It's like Nightfall. It's like what they're doing.
Also to lead you back to what you had said before, the operation that killed all of the Jedi Knights. It was called Operation Nightfall.
Yeah.
In the prequels,
yeah. Oh, look at that.
Which you hate. So
yeah, look at that.
That's why you don't know them.
I dislike them. I disrespect them.
Yeah,
I disrespect those.
Dislike has a lot of nuance. There's a lot of nuance.
Yeah, there's a lot of but yeah, no, the night vision themselves though, and if you see it in the first episode, it's actually pretty cool. They have like these cameras inside the helmet.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
Yes. I thought that was a very it's a very modern way of kind of building tension, and because I mean, if they're going to be historic, the Templars are going to have these like boxy helmets, and that's not sexy,
right? Right.
So they want to be historically accurate, or as accurately as possible, as accurate as possible. But there's also got to be a way that they kind of build tension with it, and showing a guy's eyes bulging through a slit isn't going to work.
Isn't going to do it.
No, but that's what I refer to that as Iron Man vision.
Yeah.
Which is what they've been doing with Iron Man.
Yeah, a little bit of that too.
And they also did it with Spartacus, the TV show, where they show the gladiators inside their helmets.
All right, I mean, so
so that works.
We've leaped on some good praise on them, and we'll continue to do so. I think
there's
both
a little bit of
pleasantly
anachronistic, because they're yelling out orders in the middle of a fight, and that's because the camera is right up close to the guy, so you can hear his orders. But the guy 6 horses over. He's not. Yeah, he's not hearing that guy's orders.
No. He's like in the helmet and everything's going on.
He's doing his own thing.
But we've done some good praise on it. We'll get a little deeper into it. But the real question is, and this is what everyone keeps asking: is this the next Game of Thrones?
Oh.
What does that even mean when we come back?
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
That might have been the best thing you've ever said, period. Like on the show. I mean, we're not even talking about like your opinions, they're okay. Segue, boom. Yeah. That's where the money's made, my man.
You know what? Now I'm going to end every sentence with boom. Boom. And that's what I do.
Exactly.
Boom.
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 All right. That's enough. That's old already. This show doesn't work when we agree.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I am super loud. I am Michael Dolce, your host, with my second mic.
Are we back? Where did we go?
We didn't go anywhere.
We're not really back.
But we're here now.
But
we're here. We are talking about History Channel's new show, Nightfall, which, again, our opinions are our own, but we definitely are working with them on this.
Yeah, full disclosure.
Which is pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest with you. It's about time somebody recognized how brilliant we are and wanted to exploit our brilliance for their own financial gain.
You
Did I reverse that completely?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. All right. Well, anyway, hey, happy to have History Channel here every night. Remember Nova Sofa? Here's the one thing we said. So we did have actually some genuine...
We left on a cliffhanger.
We had some genuine praise for the show. And I think ultimately we got to watch next week's pilot episode in advance, and we both liked it. I mean, yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's there. The one question, though, that was kind of brought up, and this is brought up for every show now, is this the next Game of Thrones? Okay? I mean, if you're checking a list and you're checking boxes, right? Medieval intrigue, yes. It's got the medieval intrigue, right? It's got bloodshed, a lot of blood in this, a lot of like fake blood everywhere.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
It was a little murky.
Very cool cliffhanger at the end of the first episode.
Kind of sad, kind of a little grisly.
But it also kind of but it does kind of play into what Game of Thrones does. But let's look at Game of Thrones from a larger standpoint, right? Like, the next Game of Thrones, does it have to be a medieval thing? Could you argue that Game of Thrones transcends its own setting, right? I mean, in a way it does, right?
I think if you're really smart, you don't want to get labeled with that anyway.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I think 5 or 6 years from now, you want people to be asking what's going to be the next Nightfall, Yes. So, whereas it would be great if the vloggers and everybody else came along and said this is a successor to this is a proper successor to Game of Thrones, and this is exactly what we want to see. This is more of the same of what we like. It's a boon. You do get some light out of it.
Sure.
You're going to get a lot of people to follow it, but then you're going to get unfair comparisons. You're going to, if people don't, people don't follow history and they want that epic fantasy thing, there's not going to be any dragons.
But again, is that what makes Game of Thrones so great? Because quite frankly, Game of Thrones succeeds in spite of itself. If you think about it, right? Epic fantasy should not be the #1 TV show in the world.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying by its
I don't know if I agree with that.
By its own history,
what?
By its own history, right?
By history of epic fantasy.
Yes.
Well, we had Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was giant. We're in the television renaissance where television and movies are not that far removed now.
Sure.
So television shows are basically long movies now.
Yes.
They're 10-hour,
actually movies are short TV shows. I think.
Actually,
I feel
yeah.
Like that's,
if you
look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
the other
right?
way around. So, I mean, no one's got an issue sitting in a theater for 3 hours to watch anything now.
Sure.
No one's got an issue sitting in front of the television binging something for 6 hours.
Yeah.
All through their weekend. So, epic fantasy kind of fits right in there, and this show will fit right in there, But
I don't think it's going to. I don't think what makes Game of Thrones is the fact that it's set in a medieval setting or an epic fantasy setting. I think what makes Game of Thrones is the characters and how they react to their environment, how they react to each other, how they're consistently working their way toward this goal, and then us as viewers are being surprised along the way. I would actually say the next Game of Thrones right now is Stranger Things. I would say Stranger Things is more the next Game of Thrones, even though it has nothing to do with medieval intrigue. It has nothing to do with epic fantasy. It has nothing to do with dragons or anything like that. I think the next Game of Thrones, if you look at that, I'm going to use the air quotes, is what's the next cultural phenomenon? And in that regard, I think it could be anything, right? And right now, I think Stranger Things is that Game of Thrones.
Well, who's saying it's the next Game of Thrones?
Who's saying Nightfall is?
Yeah.
I think the comparisons are that it's medieval fantasy. There's, it's essentially.
Yeah, but who's using that?
I don't think anyone's necessarily saying that specifically about Nightfall, but there are comparisons based on the fact that it is, horses and knights and swords, and there's there's sex and there's violence and there's gore and there's,
Good stuff.
In that regard, there's just a similarity of context.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily. The next Game of Thrones. See, to me, like the next Game of Thrones is what's the next cultural phenomenon?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't even think I would agree with that. Stranger Things being the next Game of Thrones. There's not going to be another Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
just like there's not going to be another Stranger Things. There's going to be 100 shows that's going to come out that's going to be 80s related with kids running around like the Goonies,
right.
Because everything
but
is.
That's what makes Stranger Things the next. All right, I maybe using the term "the next" is the wrong approach, though. I guess I'm defining Game of Thrones as cultural phenomenon. The next cultural phenomenon to me was Stranger Things.
I don't know if it's a phenomenon. I don't know. We'll parse that, but I see what you're saying. So yeah, and I agree. It has to be the characters. And anything that's emphasizing character, over over the scenery, over the situation and the severity of the scene, the blood and stuff like that. That's probably going to get you somewhere. Even in things that aren't successful, aren't commercially successful, have stand the test of time, last dozens of years after they've come out because of great characterization. So yeah, definitely. So yeah, the time will tell with Nightfall whether it's got the
legs.
If it does, it certainly has the right setting.
Yeah,
it's certainly in the right place at the right time.
Well, let me ask you another question too, and I think this is a really important one, right? And this kind of ties into the prequels, which I love to tie into as much as humanly possible. If you know what the ending already is, right? Sorry, spoiler alert. Go read a history book. Things don't end well for the Templars. Like, they don't.
Well,
if you know this ending going in, which I guess now everyone does.
If you're into, if you're
into history?
Yeah, if you're a masochist,
if you're into history, yes.
It ends very well for you. If you like being set on fire, then it ends very well.
But if you're if you know the outcome of something already before it happens,
right?
How much can you get behind what's going on, knowing what's going to end up?
Well,
happening?
that's the Titanic, isn't it?
That's good. It's another very good analogy.
People aren't really concerned so much about what's going to happen next. They want to see the events that led up to that, and they want to see, as you say again, with character.
Yeah.
They want to see how the characters, deal with the events of the situation. So, like, if you got two great characters, and then you realize, and the boat's going to sink.
Right.
You know, any minute now, this boat's going to sink. I want to see if these two
make it off.
Yeah, they have the moxie to get out of the situation. So, you know, we do have like kind of a fatalism where history is kind of an inevitability. There's like a pending disaster, a pending doom coming. You know, like we have you know, The Walking Dead or whatever. We're very infatuated with apocalyptic you know kind of situations. So if you're setting the show up, and they've done it in some of the reviews where they said this takes place. You know, this show will lead all the way up until you know the fall of all the Templar Knights. Yeah. Then with that pending doom in the background, if you were
really attached to Landry, who's the main character, if you're really attached to the king and the queen, being king and queen never works out well.
No, it
right?
doesn't.
Queen Joan never works out well.
It's cool while it lasts. Yeah. You know, it's cool in the beginning, but you know, look at Henry VIII. It's really great in the beginning.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah.
Until it's not. Until it's not. It always ends up bad.
Exactly. Look at all the Louis. You know. So there's potential. There's total potential for like fantastic drama and whatever. So if they do their characters right, if they carry these characters off, and you really do give a darn about these guys, about Landry, and the several other key knights that he has in the story, that as this inevitable event comes up, you know, it's going to be pretty exciting.
I think so.
Should be exciting.
I think so too. I think, you know, overall, if we were to, I don't want to give it swords. What's a good like barometer? Good parody barometer.
For a scale?
Pun barometer. Yeah. What's a good pun barometer?
I don't know.
Master Grader?
How many grails?
How many grails are you going to give it? How many grails? Let's do it. No. Let's do even better. Let's
Grader.
Stop. I got that in there. Do you know? Wait, no. Let's do. How many Indiana Joneses? How many Sean Connerys?
Oh my God!
Come on, Sean Connery. That was this whole thing.
All right.
How many Sean Connerys would you give the pilot episode?
What's
out
the scale?
of 5. We'll do out of 5.
I would give it a 5.
You give it a 5?
Yeah.
Holy crap! I would give it a 3.5. To be honest with you,
know what?
I was
one of those, and this is complete honesty.
Yeah.
The fact that it exists, and the fact that they're focusing, it's kind of an oddity. The Crusades is not really. There's not a lot of subject matter on the Crusades as entertainment.
True.
You know, and I mean the last big one we got was Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah,
and that's got a lot of controversy around it.
Yeah.
That's a very debatable. You know, I know a lot of people are going to stay away from it because it is a very strong conflict with the Muslims. You know,
there's a mass debate behind that.
Yeah, there would be an extreme mass that you would have to debate on that.
Good, yeah, good point.
So anyway,
Nightfall premiere is Wednesday, December 6th at 10 p.m. Eastern on History. Visit history.com for more information about Nightfall. We're going to keep talking about it a little bit, too. We're also going to get into the Marvel Infinity War trailer that came out a little later. But up next, we've got DaiQuan Cain. I'm just going to butcher his name all day long. DaiQuan Cain. Calling in, talking to Kickstarter.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Legalize the herb. Continue to resist the passage of this necessary legislation.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
I love the emotional affairs.
That's awesome.
I'm having an emotional affair with you.
I have
every
emotional
week.
affairs all the time.
I know.
Yeah. I didn't think that was an actual insult to other people, but
well, you're not cheating on somebody.
Well, if you can do that emotionally, I'm cheating on you right now.
This is
because I'm thinking about someone else.
You're thinking about Peter. Hi, Peter.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. Again, we want to thank History Channel for, working with us to give us some stuff before. I love seeing stuff before everybody else.
Gets to see
that
it.
makes me feel important. And
especially if you like the stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to lie to people. Like,
No, it's true,
that was
actually.
really nice.
It was very helpful that we enjoyed
I love
the material
potpourri.
we saw.
Thank you so much for all this potpourri.
But feeling important satisfies a lifelong dream that I had. Our next guest is fulfilling a lifelong dream that is more creative in nature. Welcome, DaiQuan Cain. DaiQuan, I'm just gonna completely butcher his name every single time. DaiQuan, how's it
Tell
going?
him to say his own name.
It's not the
Hey,
name.
guys, how you doing?
Doing good. It's not the name that I'm butchering. It's the syllables. DaiQuan Cain. It's like saying it fast.
It's Qui-Gon Jinn.
Right. We're gonna call you Qui-Gon for the rest of the show. That's it.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're doing really good.
man.
So, talk to us. You are fulfilling a 16-year dream, the Silent Descendants. It's on Kickstarter right now. Give our audience the 30-second pitch.
Okay, so the story is about the Dark Fury family, and they are from Yonkers, New York. And when their father, who's a firefighter, gets killed in a domestic terrorism act, his children, they band together to sort of, find those responsible for his death, and they use their newfound superpowers to do so.
How'd they get those powers?
They found their powers by way of a ancient mysticism that was dormant inside of a book.
And where did they find this book?
The book is actually a souvenir from one of the siblings who brought it home to the United States all the way from Iran after the war that he was in.
You realize I'm just going to basically have you give the entire plot line for your book, so it's going to be almost, they're not even going to want that after that. No, I'm just kidding. What is your inspiration for creating this? You said it's 16 years in the making. Obviously, just from the sound of what you told us, there's a host of different, kind of. I don't want to use the word inspirations again, but what inspired you to kind of come up with this?
I was inspired by two different things that actually put the story into motion after such a long period. The first actually was September 11th. That was actually the catalyst for why I created the story. And that's actually where the terrorism aspect within the story comes from. What happened was I was 10 years old at the time when I originally came up with the concept for the story, and I did so as a way of coping with such a chaotic time as it was back then. The second inspiration would definitely be the birth of my daughter. I wanted to do something that I could, inspire her with as she got older, and hopefully, it'll all work out. It's on Kickstarter.
So it's a good segue into my next question too. Talk to the audience. How difficult is it to put up a Kickstarter? I mean, I've done 3 or 4 of them now, but I want to hear from a first timer. How much work goes into this?
It is extremely straining. I'm definitely grateful for all the support that I've gotten, but I must say that it's one of the, the hardest things that I've ever gotten myself involved with. There's so much competition out there, both mainstream and independently, and to get people to view your project can be a challenge.
Sure.
But, I'm a believer that the cream rises to the top.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, the pre-Kickstarter build-up. I mean, that's something that people kind of neglect a lot of times, right? They're so focused on the project, they don't realize that the marketing has to go in like 6 months before. What did you kind of do to kind of build up steam for the Kickstarter that's going on right now?
You're absolutely right about that. It does take a lot of, pre-planning. One big thing that I did that I didn't see a lot of people doing was I thought outside the box, and I created a countdown on all my social media accounts. And I believe that it helped us gain a very strong start.
Sure.
So, doing a countdown helps, and also giving people a little sense of what your story is in the aspect of, you know, like character profiles and short, vague synopsises. Nothing too detailed, but, you know, those are definitely things that I believe helps any creator, you know, have a very strong Kickstarter.
Sure. Who are the creators that you kind of look up to? Who are the creators that have kind of influenced what you're doing now with your book?
Well, definitely, I would say Dwayne McDuffie and Todd McFarlane as independent creators. I definitely have a lot of respect for those two guys, you know, for building their own brands. Robert Kirkman is another one, and I'm a very, very big fan of Jason Aaron also.
I'm not a huge Jason Aaron guy. I think he's okay. Hassan, what do you think?
I don't even know who he is.
You don't even know who he is. You're just like, comics, what are they? What show am I on? What am I doing? What am I even doing here?
No, I don't really know.
He did Scalp.
He's writing a very good independent book, actually, called Southern Bastard.
What's it called?
Southern Bastard.
Yeah, Southern Bastard.
I got option 2. He's I hate him. I hate him right now. No.
Yeah.
I'm insanely
like
jealous
he's
of
successful.
Right. I hate anyone who's more successful.
You
than
always
I am.
hate people who are successful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's what fuels. It's what inspires me. So if DaiQuan was to ask me the question of what inspires me, it's all the people that I hate.
It's the hate that you have.
Yeah.
Hate is kind of a nuanced thing. Did you know that?
No, it's very clear cut.
Yeah.
What comics are you reading these days, DaiQuan?
Right now, I'm reading The Realm by Seth Peck and Jeremy Hahn, I believe.
Oh my God, dude, that's like way too deep for us. Just say Superman. No.
Yeah, it's being published by Image Comics, and it's the best thing that I've read all year.
That's mainstream enough for you.
Well, wait, let me throw this out here actually, because this is a good place. We're all comic book fans. We're all into this industry. Is Image Comics? Do you consider Image Comics to be an independent comic book company anymore?
I do. I mean, in the sense that, you know, they only really, you know, publish your stuff. As far as promotion, I still see a lot of, you know, the creative team still doing a lot of that themselves.
I would slightly disagree with him only because Image is a known brand. Like, if you see an Image book, you're likely to buy it.
Yeah.
If you're, you know, if you see like Tom's Comics, you know, you might not be quick to grab it off a shelf. So that's the only reason why I would say they're probably independent. You could call them a creator, you know, because they are creator-owned.
They're creator-owned, yeah.
But they're also a name brand, so it's kind of a phenomenon. So
where this question came from was like a Twitter discussion I got into with some random guy who I don't know who he is.
It's always with some random guy.
But he was basically saying, you know, can you consider Image?
I think it's always the same guy on the internet, too.
It's probably, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's only one guy.
And I was saying to him, I said, look, first of all, independent is technically considered not Marvel or DC. Mm-hmm. That's the technical term for independent.
Right.
And second,
not a Democrat or a Republican.
Right. But then he actually came to me and his argument was, yeah, but they're a machine now. They're a known global machine. And DaiQuan, you actually brought up the point that I made. When I went through Image to release Descendant years ago, I thought, okay, great, I made it. This is great. I just have to focus on making this book. And I failed to realize, no. They're just going to publish your book.
Yeah, you got to advertise it. You got to market it.
You have to market it just as hard as if you're doing a Kickstarter.
Right, absolutely.
And so you bring that up and actually seeing that the creators are the ones out there pimping their stuff. There are so many Image books that have come out that you would never knew even existed.
But you have to admit, the Image label
big time
will help sell that book.
Big time help.
Okay.
It definitely... yeah.
I'm sorry. My opinion on it is I actually do see, with your friend is saying, I do think that, you know, having the Image brand on your book will definitely help you. But you have to remember, Star Wars before the Disney buyout was, you know, still independent itself. So it's a very subjective term.
Sure.
And that's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think we're all agreeing here.
No.
No?
No. The show doesn't work when we agree.
This is very true, actually.
I heard that from a source just recently.
Something else, too, just to briefly talk about while we have another minute here, too, is what Marvel books are you reading? What DC books are you reading? Are you a fan of what's kind of going on with the movies in relation to what happened in the comics, or no?
Me, personally, I'm always going to be a Marvel and DC fan for life. At the moment, I'm mostly reading independent comic books, but I still pick up a couple, of the big two. From Marvel, right now, I'm still reading Black Panther, Jessica Jones, and the Renew Your Vows ongoing story. And on the DC side, I'm reading the Action Comics and Superman books, and also Astro City.
Wait, is Astro City still coming out? Astro City is still coming out with Kurt Busiek?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh man, I haven't picked up one of those in years.
I'm a little floored at the fact that he said that he is into Marvel and DC.
Oh, you can be into both.
Isn't everything a binary choice?
No.
What? You can't like both of them.
I'm a little bit of a rarity. I don't have a preference. I love them both equally.
No, I wouldn't say no. Now that's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. There's no.
He's completely altruistic.
I'm a Marvel fan more than a DC fan, but I can pick up a DC book and be.
I don't understand how this happens.
No,
this does not seem like it makes any sense. It doesn't happen.
Does not compute.
No, doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to think.
I think that both of you are just making it up for the show.
I'm trying to think of some sort of clickbait. Thing that I can think of.
But you can't, so just keep going. Just keep moving.
So far, I'm the winner.
If you say so.
DaiQuan, tell everyone where they can find your Kickstarter, and tell them where they can find on social media and how they can contribute.
Okay. You can find my Kickstarter at thesilentdescendants.com. Either spelling of Descendants works.
That's good.
And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/DaiQuan Cain YouTube.
See, I messed it up the whole time.
See? That's why I said get him to say his own name. You never listen. You never listen to the second mic.
And where's your blog?
My blog is DaiQuanCain.com.
Well, DaiQuan, it has been a pleasure. I'll be contributing to said Kickstarter as well, too. I wish you the best.
Good luck with your project. We're going to be looking in on it.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much, guys. I truly appreciate it.
You got it. All right, when we come back, we're going to dive deep into the new Marvel Infinity War trailer that just dropped today when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Pornhub traffic plummets during Game of Thrones season premiere. Porn provider Pornhub reports their site traffic was down 4.5% on Sunday when HBO aired the popular fantasy series.
Here's a ridiculous question that probably no one asked.
Yeah.
Who did they report that to?
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. Again, we do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, and streaming live, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Want to thank DaiQuan for coming on. Much easier to say his name when I say it correctly.
Once you hear him pronounce his
name. When I say it correctly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would imply I did some sort of research. And planning.
I know.
Two things
we'll get that worked out.
We'll
get that worked out.
Secrets of the Sire is brought to you by all of our beloved patrons. We have dedicated fans, Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, Ashley Haikai, our program director, Stephanie Dolce, our executive producers, Steve Ovecki, Brian Phillips, and Christina Gillen, and as always, our Uber fan, Christina Dolce. Wish them the best with the Kickstarter. Kickstarters are not easy.
No, they're not. And they're kind of brutal.
They are nerve-wracking. I've
never done it, but I know for a fact, just because by the nature of it, you don't get the money if you don't hit your goal, that kind of thing. So it's a lot of pressure to you, and then you got to get it noticed, all that stuff.
It's painful.
The great thing about it, though, is once it goes through, it's not a gamble anymore.
But then the work actually begins.
Right, but say you've already done the work.
No,
and you're like,
matter.
well, I gotta.
I'm telling you, it's there's so much, because to just produce a book, it would be the only thing you do. But then you offer all these kind of rewards, and they usually involve collecting artwork. You become like a production manager. You become like
that's why you don't offer rewards, though.
Well, but then you don't get it kickstarted.
Oh, I'll get it kickstarted.
Oh well, then
don't you worry. I know other people.
So go check out his Kickstarter. It's the Silent Descendants. silentdescendants.com. Go check it out. Contribute. He's got a lot of cool rewards and a lot of cool things going on. One of the big things that we definitely wanted to kind of tackle also, though, too. I mean, we want to thank History Channel for letting us review Nightfall. Again, that series is debuting next Wednesday night. So go to history.com for more information about Nightfall. 10 Eastern. It's definitely worth it. I gave it 3.5 Sean Connerys. Hassan gave it 5 Sean Connerys. That means on an average it is 4.4 or 5.
Yeah, it's 4.5 Sean Connerys.
And that's a Holy
really
Grail.
Short Sean Connery.
Yeah.
It's a mini Connery.
Who was actually only like 10 years older than Harrison Ford when they shot that movie.
Yeah.
Which was like baffling to me.
But Sean Connery is a life of drinking. And Harrison Ford is not.
This is very true.
Harrison Ford is a life of pot. So you can see the. I
was gonna say I give a compliments to the wardrobe people and the makeup people, but no, you're like no. Sean Connery is an alcoholic.
It's what you're putting in your body.
And Harrison Ford is a pothead.
Exactly.
And that's
why he could play a guy who's probably supposedly 30 years older than the main character, even though he's only 10 years older.
Exactly.
He's not going to do anything to me because he's retired, so I'm pretty safe saying that. Even with that said, I'm still a little intimidated. I'm worried about seeing Sean Connery on the train.
He's an old man now. You could totally take him.
Sean Connery will do you. He will.
You think so?
Yes.
Well, give me your.
He'll do you, and he'll make a pun. He'll make a really bad James Bond.
The Rapists for 500, Alex. That's my Sean Connery impression. That's my Daryl Hammond impression of Sean Connery impression.
What's awesome about that skit?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that skit is his inexplicable hatred for Trebek. Alex Trebek. And they never bother to delve into it.
No,
he just hates Trebek.
But that's just good writing.
Yes.
See, that's just good writing. They just give an implied
I don't get this,
anger.
Mr. Sean Connery. I think you do, Trebek. I think you get it all the time. Fantastic.
We could do an entire show about just that sketch.
Yeah, all meta. We could do an entire show about all the sketches that we like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Our alpha intern Anna's like, I don't even know what. Yeah. What is Saturday Night Live?
Old guys.
What is?
Yeah, you don't. You're being nice.
Come on.
So an amazing thing dropped this morning, and unfortunately
How did you know about that?
What?
How did you know
that it dropped today?
Yeah, this amazing thing dropped this morning, and it fell on my foot
because it's the nighttime.
It hurt like hell. It was like amazing, the pain.
So anything in the future, anything in the present, if you talk about stuff that happened in the past, you will have knowledge of it. That's how I know.
I'm not even going to wrap my head around whatever the heck you just said.
You're saying, how did you know that something happened in the past?
Yeah,
because it happened.
I was making a kind of nuanced joke, and you understand jokes are nuances, right? They're not like blanket
I think
things.
you step all over me with your terrible jokes.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, go check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Secrets of the Sire. Go check out our Billy Corgan video.
There's some funny stuff. Go check out a video about how I almost died eating a piece of metal.
Alpha intern Anna did an exceptional video on one of our previous shows as well too.
Yes,
she did a
did.
very nice job.
Yes, she did.
So we're gonna have one more out of her before she goes off to the wonderland of
and
finals.
find stardom and gets somewhere in life, unlike the rest of us.
Not go that far.
Oh, all right. Well, you're not wishing her well.
I'm not wishing her well.
But you're not.
What did we talk about? I don't want people to be more successful than me.
Well, yeah.
I thought we were through this already.
But your desires are a nuanced thing, Mike. There's nuance to your desires.
I don't want any Jason Aarons on this show. That's what I want. I want any Casey Josts. I want people.
You want everybody to fail. You want everyone to fail.
I want everyone to fail slightly less than me.
How bad do you fail?
I'm successful.
Do you fail a lot?
Well, clearly, I'm not doing very well. I mean,
well, you're sitting with me, so obviously.
Let's be honest.
You're sitting with your second mic, who always cuts you off.
We're not even going to get into Infinity War, are we? It's just not even Infinity War, drop, trailer, truth or trash. We don't have any kind of fun.
With no music and fanfare.
Music for that, but let's spin the racks anyway.
Oh, that was on cue.
Trailer trash, trailer truth. Trailer truth or trash. Well, I got to come up with something different. I mean, there got to be something.
We are middling. We are indeed middling.
We've gone sub-middling.
Yeah,
this is the height.
We're sub-middling.
History Channel is the height of our success.
Yes.
We've essentially reached. We've reached the top of the mountain.
Yeah, and I think they're done with us at this point. So anyway,
they'd be stupid not to be. Maybe a bunch of Jason Aarons. Okay, so.
Oh man.
Here's the thing though. Avengers Infinity War,
yes.
the 2-minute clip drop.
Yes.
My initial reaction watching it, literally, with all you guys and all of our executive producers who huddled around.
Yes, we all huddled around in this office.
I gotta say, I got a little bit of goosebumps.
You got goosebumps.
I did. I did. There's something about all your favorite comic book heroes banding together against an absolute evil. I think that's why Avengers worked for me, in a sense of the villain was so... I know Loki was the villain, but the real villain was the Chitauri. It was so clear-cut. You could just have everyone kind of... Even though it took the entire movie for them to get to that point, which actually made it better.
Right.
To see them all rally when Captain America says to Hulk, "You smash," and he just goes nuts. It's like this unbridled enthusiasm.
Yeah, the only thing that was wrong with that movie was I'm always angry. That's the only thing that was crap.
And that's fair.
That was pure crap.
That's fair.
Everything else, and I'm not a fan of the director of that film, but that film is really some guy who directed a movie once.
Yeah.
But I saw that movie probably 5 times in the first 2 weeks it was out.
It was just
it was amazing.
The thing that was amazing about it too, right, is that they really took the slow approach. By the time that movie came...
Was it the pacing? Was it the slow burn?
No, not the pacing of the actual film, but
the cinematic universe in and of itself. All the episodes that led together were paced slowly.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I think that the fact that they were just there, that we were able to get this nuanced history...
You just said the slow pacing, the slow building.
The slow building, not pacing.
You said, well, yeah, but I'm using the word
You're
pacing.
using the word pacing, and because I thought you meant that I thought I was talking about the video. I'm not talking about the video.
Sort of like the Stranger Things season.
No.
Built
No.
to a fever pitch.
No, I disagree, actually, because I think that they blew...
Of course you disagree, because you see my angle now.
I see your angle, but I don't agree with it. I see what you were trying to do.
You didn't see where I was going.
I see what you were trying to do.
You had no clue.
But when it comes down to Infinity War now... Think about this too, right? We've had many...
I'm going to wait till you make a pertinent point, and I'm going to cut you off and derail you. Which Bernie Sanders...
That's our...
politics.
Shape-shifting reptilians. That's our stock and trade. No, but think about it, right? I mean, Infinity War had... We've been in Marvel Phase 2 for a while, right? So for Phase 1 was here's all our heavy hitters.
Phase 2, yeah. Seems like Phase 2 has been lasting
It's
quite
a long
while.
time, right?
Yeah.
But here's our heavy hitters in Phase 1. You're going to get Iron Man, boom, it's great. Thor, boom. I loved Thor. I thought the first Thor was great. Captain America, we both agree. First Captain America was one of their best films.
Wonderful film.
You were just knocking it out of the park. Here's your legacy characters. Here's your main characters. Now here's Avengers. Plus you get Hawkeye. Plus you get Scarlet Witch. Plus you get... the Hulk that should have been in previous movies.
Well, you didn't get Scarlet Witch until...
what's her name? Scarlett Johansson.
Black Widow.
There you go.
Well done, Anna.
Alpha intern Anna. Come on. Let's
She's awesome.
keep it alliterated here.
It's not alliteration if there's an I.
I know, Alpha intern. So you have all these characters coming in at the end.
Right.
I think we actually... In the process of Phase 2, which I kind of grown a little tired of because they're all offbeat now. They're all these wacky, different movies, which is fine. It's really good. It just feels like it's been going on for a long time. To have it all kind of come together, just in the trailer, it's kind of like, All right, this is going to be pretty dope.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a downside to it because it was a great trailer.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, A, it's a trailer. B, it's like it's a standard trailer format with the music in the background is building up the beats and it gets some guy narrating on top of it with some airy voice. Okay, enough. We just saw The Last Jedi do that and a whole bunch of others. But the only kind of thing that gets on my nerves about it is that I know it's cut into 2 parts. Mm-hmm. So we're only going to get the first half of it, and then you're going to have to wait 6 months to a year for the next one, and that's annoying as hell.
We've got 1 minute,
and I don't know how they're going to pull. I'm curious to see how they pull it together.
Prediction: who dies at the end of the first movie?
I don't know.
I'm assuming. I'm going on a limb. I'm making an ass out of me and you.
No, it's mostly you though.
I am saying
you don't have to make an ass
that
out
the
of you,
cliffhanger will be
kind of an ass.
The Empire Strikes Back kind of. There's a death.
Yeah, of course, and it will probably be. I predict it would be either Captain America or Iron Man.
Captain America. Everyone thinks Captain America.
Well,
they're all their contracts are up. All their contracts. This is the last stand.
I think it will be more Captain America than it will be Iron Man because Iron Man is going to have his cathartic come to Jesus moment after it. Because Iron Man in the last few movies, they've been building him up to be a kind of unreasonable reactionary to this stuff, and he's kind of going off the beaten track, and he's getting more austere and more forgive the term because it's not a political term. But he's becoming much more conservative with how he administrates the justice of his job, and so I think there's going to be a significant death, and it's going to snap him back into the Tony Stark that we knew when the series first started.
Okay.
Maybe
I think he'll be the one to die. Nightfall premiere this Wednesday, December 6th, 10 p.m. Eastern on History Channel.
Yeah, watch it. It's really good, guys.
Visit history.com for more information about Nightfall. We want to thank them again. This was really exciting. This was really fun. Bottom line, it was just fun, right? It was just fun to be able to see all this stuff.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was good.
It's a good show.
Yeah,
it's actually a good show. So we're pretty excited about that.
That was really what was more fun about it.
Tune in next week. We welcome Bleeding Cool's Riverdale expert Lauren Sizzleman to talk about the new hit CW
I should watch
show.
A couple of those shows.
It's actually really good too.
Yeah, everyone says.
Secrets of the Sire, comics, movies, TV, pop culture. We'll see you next week.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Talking Alternative.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on talkingalternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Talking Alternative.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.